What was the craziest rumor at your school? At my school, everyone talked about the abandoned third floor that was supposedly haunted by a student who died during a fire in the 1960s. Most of the upper classrooms had been sealed off for decades with chains across the stairwells and warning signs about structural damage. I always thought it was just a story until my senior year when I joined the school newspaper and was assigned to write an article about the building's history. Our school was over 100 years old and had survived 2 world wars, a depression, and countless renovations. I decided to interview our janitor, Mr. Jenkins, who had worked there for 35 years longer than any teacher or administrator. He was reluctant at first, but eventually agreed to meet me after hours in the cafeteria. When I asked about the third floor, his weathered face darkened. "They don't want anyone talking about that," he whispered, glancing toward the principal's office. "But I can show you something if you promise to keep quiet." I followed him through the maintenance corridors to a service elevator I didn't know existed. We rode up in silence. The doors opened to reveal a perfectly preserved hallway, not dusty or damaged, but clean, with polished floors and working lights. "This doesn't look abandoned," I said, confused. Mr. Jenkins nodded. "It's not abandoned. It's restricted." He guided me past classrooms with modern computers and strange equipment. Each room had a small window in the door, but the glass was tinted when we reached room 319. He pulled out a special key card. "Look quickly," he said, sliding it through a reader. I peered through as the door unlocked inside. Were about 15 students I had never seen before, all working silently at stations. They wore our school uniform, but with a strange emblem I didn't recognize before I could process what I was seeing. Mr. Jenkins, he hurried me back to the elevator. "Someone's coming," he whispered as we descended. He explained that since 1967, our school had been part of a government program for gifted students with unusual abilities. The fire was real, but it wasn't an accident. It was an experiment gone wrong. They'd sealed off the third floor from the regular student body, but it never stopped operating. Those students up there, they don't attend regular classes. They don't appear in yearbooks. They don't exist on paper. I didn't believe him until the next day, when I tried accessing the school's archived blueprints for my article. The original plans clearly showed 5 floors, not 4. Our current maps only showed 3, plus a maintenance level. When I asked the librarian about this discrepancy, she reported me to the principal. I was called to his office that afternoon, where I found him sitting with a woman in a dark suit who introduced herself as an educational compliance officer. They asked detailed questions about my interest in the building's history and whether I had accessed any restricted areas. The principal reminded me that some parts of the school were off limits due to asbestos and liability issues. But the woman's questions were more pointed. Had I seen any students I didn't recognize? Had I taken any photographs? The following week, my article was canceled, and my position at the newspaper was given to another student. My locker was searched twice for contraband. I started noticing a security guard following me between classes. Then my family received a letter offering me a full scholarship to a prestigious private academy, effective immediately. My parents were ecstatic, but the letter included a non-disclosure agreement about my current school when I refused to sign. My computer crashed, losing all my research, and my phone kept having strange glitches yesterday. I saw one of those third-floor students in the main hallway. She looked disoriented, wearing our uniform with that strange emblem. When our eyes met, she slipped me a note before disappearing into the crowd. It read, "They're listening through the school speakers. They watch through the cameras. We aren't the first group, and it won't be the last. Help us this morning." The intercom announced a special program for selected students to participate in advanced placement testing in room 319. The list of names included mine.